Welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something really fascinating. We're diving into a rigorous, evidence-first framework that essentially builds a bridge between 19th century commercial banking practices and a modern asset-to-liquidity control system. We're talking about how you take a massive, ambitious mission, like estate restoration, and ground it in rules that are so rock-solid they've actually survived for nearly 2 centuries.
Now, right out of the gate, we have to establish our structural boundary, and it really comes down to this. Execution cannot cure a defective foundation. You simply can't build a legitimate financial future on top of unverified assumptions. I mean, think about it. A beautifully signed closing package doesn't just magically conjure up ownership, authenticity, or value if it literally didn't exist before the ink dried.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at the philosophy of evidence, 2 non-negotiable boundaries, the 1852 commercial precedent, the post-penny era, 2 tracks of restoration, and finally, safeguarding the future. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The philosophy of evidence, where inspiration meets objective proof.
Okay, the absolute crucial point here is that while the cultural or historical purpose gives you the drive, it is strict, hard evidence that actually puts recognized value on the ledger. Identity gives you the why, right? But standards, evidence, and honest dealing are what give the system credibility. You can't just declare that something has value out of thin air. You have to objectively, verifiably prove it.
Section 2. 2 non-negotiable boundaries, setting the rules of engagement.
This brings us to the funding boundary, which acts as a strict 3-step lock to protect against phantom wealth. An idea has to transform before it becomes real liquidity. Step 1, a theory may enter research. Step 2, a verified right may enter underwriting. And Step 3, only collected and reconciled proceeds may enter available liquidity. It's a progression, and you absolutely cannot skip a step.
Section 3. The 1852 commercial precedent, a 200-year-old blueprint.
Let's step back in time for a second. In 1852, a manual for the use of notaries public and bankers was compiled from the archives of the Banker's magazine. It acts as a 2-century-old blueprint, proving that the requirement for independent verification isn't some new hurdle. It has always been the gold standard. It's this remarkable piece of history that acts as the anchor for modern liquidity controls.
And this wasn't just vague advice. The manual meticulously codifies a strict 11-step legal sequence required to enforce commercial debt. It lays out everything from validity and consideration all the way down to endorsers, guarantors, and damages. This framework was designed to protect secondary parties through timely presentment. It's basically a brilliantly structured checklist ensuring that before a single penny moves or liability is established, the legal sequence is followed without a single exception.
It also catalogs the vital institutional designs of the time. For instance, it features the Pool Index of Banking Literature, tracking writings on currency by heavyweights like Albert Gallatin. It even includes forward-thinking proposals, like creating a guarantee fund for bank officers to replace private surety bonds. That proposal was actually annotated by figures like the Governor of the Bank of England, which just shows you how seriously 19th century institutions took internal risk management.
Much like the heavy, solid stone of 19th century architecture, these judicial digests built an absolutely unshakable foundation for commercial transactions. The manual summarized massive landmark cases on fraud, usury, agency, and the legal protocols for redeeming forged bills. So while their physical buildings were made of granite, their commercial architecture was built on rigorous, verifiable law.
And here's the kicker from those 1852 rules. Formal protest is the ultimate, sovereign proof required when things go wrong. It defines formal protest as the unalterable proof of commercial dishonor that you literally have to establish liability. If someone doesn't pay, you don't just rely on a verbal complaint or a nasty letter, you rely on a documented, formal protest. The evidence is everything.
Section 4. The post-penny era, navigating the November 2025 transition.
So how does all this 19th century banking tie into today? Enter the Moorish-American numismatic estate restoration system, or manners. The foundational text here takes those historic professional banking habits we just covered and applies them directly to the modern end of general circulating 1-cent coin production. It takes a public policy transition and uses it as an opportunity for disciplined, evidence-based institution building.
Now listen up, because this is a massive takeaway for you. Manners, strictly, and I mean strictly, rejects payout speculation. The U.S. Mint ending mass production of the circulating penny on November 12, 2025 is a public policy transition. It does not create an automatic private right to a treasury payment.
Manners recognizes that the end of the penny requires disciplined action, not internet hype. Public attention simply doesn't equal automatic market value.
Section 5. 2 tracks of restoration, verified recovery, and value creation.
To manage this reality without any misstatement, the system operates on 2 distinct tracks. Track 1 is verified recovery. This is about reclaiming demonstrable values like legitimate tax overpayments, unclaimed property, or enforceable judgments using a strict claims docket. Track 2 is value creation, which is the physical coin intake, cataloging, grading referrals, and youth programs. It's a completely balanced approach. Recover what is legally, verifiably yours, and responsibly build value with what you hold.
And to make absolutely sure no one misstates their financial reality, Appendix A of the Manners Foundational Charter rigidly divides all assets into 5 distinct classes. Class A is your standard circulating coins at face value. Class B is potentially collectible. Class C is certified third-party graded property. Class D covers private heritage metals. And Class E is for verified document-backed estate receivables. This ensures you never ever confuse a piece of pocket change with a verified estate receivable.
Every coin documented, every estate strengthened, every claim verified. This mantra is the beating heart of the entire program. It ensures every single item is treated with fiduciary respect, moving people away from scattered, undocumented collections into a structured, auditable estate record.
Section 6. Safeguarding the future. Youth numismatics and intergenerational stewardship.
We can't talk about legacy without talking about the next generation. Under Chapter 22, the system enforces incredibly strict ethical safeguards for students. Sure, there are progressive training levels, but the critical parts are the absolute prohibitions. No using youth as sales agents, no using them as source of wealth recruiters, and a complete ban on the physical or chemical cleaning of coins. The goal is to teach them to be disciplined stewards of history, not salespeople pushing a speculative narrative.
By fusing those rock-solid historical banking frameworks with modern estate administration, this blueprint takes what could be a very confusing transition in 2025 and turns it into a durable, community-focused institution. It gives families a legal, practical path to genuinely preserve their heritage.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. What does it truly mean to build a generational legacy based on strict, verifiable evidence, rather than fleeting assumption? Ponder that for a bit, because as we've seen today, grounding your ambitions in verifiable proof is the only real key to lasting estate restoration. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.